Greetings, my beautiful lovelies, it's Emmy. Welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Simple Health, care that fits your life. Simple Health makes birth control accessible, convenient, and affordable. With online prescriptions and free home delivery, I think reproductive health is very important, and that's why I'm talking about this. Simple Health would have been something that I could have really used in my college days. There was concern that once I left college, I wouldn't have access to my clinic, which was really concerning for me. So I love the idea of having affordable, accessible, and convenient birth control. So the way Simple Health works is you go online and fill out a health profile, which is then reviewed by a doctor to see if you're a good candidate for birth control. Simple Health is not a replacement for routine checkups with your doctor. So if you're a good fit, recommendations will be made and a prescription will be written. So if you have health insurance, most likely your birth control will be covered. If not, prescriptions start at $15 a month, and then you'll start receiving your birth control right at your doorstep. No need to go to the pharmacy to pick up anything. And I love that Simple Health gives you the tools to make decisions that could affect the rest of your life. So don't miss an opportunity to try Simple Health out for free. Just go to www.simplehealth.com/Emmy or use the code Emmy when you're checking out. Big thanks to Simple Health for sponsoring this video. Now today, I'm going to be tackling something that I spotted last year. Actually, many of you sent this to me last year wanting me to taste it, and it's called Christmas Dinner. And it is a can that contains an entire Christmas dinner, all the way from Christmas pudding to bacon, scrambled eggs at the top, an entire day's worth of food in a can. So the contents of the dinner actually represent more of a British style Christmas dinner, and when I did a little bit of research, I came to the conclusion that this Christmas dinner was an absolute hoax. So fast forward to 2019, and a few of my lovelies said, Christmas dinner actually exists, you can buy it. So of course I jumped on and tried to buy it, but it said it was sold out. So again, I think it's a hoax. They came out with a vegan version as well, but I'm highly suspicious that this is even a real thing. I still want to try this, and I thought it would be absolutely incredible and funny to actually make my own Christmas dinner. So today, I'm going to be doing that. So this recipe required quite a bit of prep work. Namely, some of the items that are in Christmas dinner are not commonly found here in the US, including Christmas pudding. So my husband very kindly did some research for me regarding Christmas pudding. I thought maybe I could make it, but actually it's a very laborious process making Christmas pudding. Christmas pudding is also known as plum pudding. It's essentially a fruit cake. It has some cake in it, but it's mostly made out of dried fruit. And the cake is made well in advance, and it is fed. It is fed either brandy or rum. So every day some rum or brandy is added, it is absorbed into the fruit and cake and essentially preserves the cake. Because the pudding is soaked in alcohol, it can be kept for a very long time, months and months, even a year, even years. And before the pudding is even fed, the pudding itself needs to be steamed for several hours in a water bath, about 5 hours for a small Christmas pudding. So a very laborious process, but it's Christmas time and a special time of year, so you use things that are luxurious like booze and spices and dried fruit to make something special for the holiday. So love that tradition. So yesterday I was able to pick up a Christmas pudding. Here it is. This is made by the English cousins, and Sarah sold this to me. This was $15 for this plum pudding, and she told me all kinds of great traditions about a traditional British Christmas dinner, including feeding the pudding and storing it under your bed for safekeeping. You need a dark, cool place for your Christmas pudding to sit. And Sarah also says that this is often brought to the table lit. So you take a little bit of rum or brandy and you warm that up and douse the cake once again. And then you take a match to it. Oh, there it is. Oh, can you see it? Oh, it's so beautiful. Look, it's lit. There it is. What a beautiful tradition. I love it. It comes to the table lit, very pagan and medieval feeling. Forgot to mention that before serving this is either warmed up either by re-steaming it or placing it in the microwave for a minute or so it's nice and warm. And this is very, very rich, so a little goes a long way. This contains suet, which is beef tallow, along with lots of dried fruit. So there are a few different toppings that you can have along with your Christmas pudding. You can have it plain, or you can have some cream or double cream. And I got some of this clotted cream from Sarah. And clotted cream is very rich cream that has been cooked down so that there's even more fat in the cream. And so I've never actually had it, so I'm gonna have just a little bit of that. Oh my gosh, look at that. It almost looks like butter. I also got this from Sarah, and this is hard sauce or rum butter. So I've melted that and put a little bit on this corner. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And you can also have this with custard. Let's just have it plain first. Here we go. Itadakimasu. Wow, that is very dense. It's a little bit sweet, but most of the flavors are of dried fruit and spices. The texture is actually very nice. There's lots of reconstituted fruit in there, so the raisins are plump and juicy, and the cake portion is not as heavy as I expected it to be. It's primarily dried fruit. I got a little bit of citrus peel in that bite. Okay, let's try it with some of the hard sauce or the rum butter. Oh, this is very rich. Kind of reminds me of mooncake in that sense. Like a little bit goes a long way, just very rich. And the hard sauce gives it even more richness, and you have that very concentrated flavor of rum and butter. Delicious. I like it better with the hard sauce. Okay, let's try some with the clotted cream. Let me try the clotted cream by itself. Whoa, the clotted cream is almost like ice cream. So it's cool and it's very buttery. Really smooth and silky. Okay, let's try some of that with this. Wow, super rich. And it makes for a very slick mouthfeel and just decadent. First thing I did was grab some cans. So these are soup cans. And what I did was I took a can opener that creates smooth edges. Cut both the top and the bottom. You can actually reseat the lid back in the tin, so it will give the illusion of a whole can. And then when we're ready to unmold this, we can just press the tinner out and it will come hopefully out in one piece. Then I took another can and I used a traditional can opener and I cut off the top. And the reason why I wanted to do that was I needed to make a plunger so that I can press all of my contents down into the can. So I just took a piece of kindling, drilled a pilot hole, and then attached the lid with a screw to the wood. I cut the bottom off my Christmas pudding, and then I took this can and used it as a cookie cutter to cut a piece of cake that would fit in the bottom of this can, because the first layer of the Christmas dinner is Christmas pudding. So we'll put a layer of that in, and then use our plunger and press it down all the way to the bottom. That's very satisfying. Next, we're gonna add a layer of carrots and parsnips. This is a very traditional side dish. I took some frozen carrots and frozen parsnips because I couldn't find parsnips in the store, but I did find them frozen. I boiled them until they were soft, and then I took a potato masher and mashed them up along with a little bit of salt and butter. So this is what I've got here, and I'm gonna add a layer of that. Again, we're gonna press this down. Nice solid layer of carrots and parsnips. So we're gonna add another side dish, and this is broccoli that, again, I've boiled until it's tender and added some butter, mashed everything up. Christmas Tender said this could be broccoli or Brussels sprouts, and I like both. I thought broccoli would be a little bit greener, and give this a good press. Next, we're gonna add a layer of cranberry sauce. So I got jellied cranberry sauce from the grocery store, and I wanted it to be the diameter of this can. So I took some and I melted it in the microwave. And then in my empty can, I poured it back in and then put it in the refrigerator and allowed it to solidify, took it out, and now I have a slice that should fit in this can. So I plopped it in my hand and I'm just gonna lay it in there with my fingers. Next, we're gonna add a layer of bread sauce. Have you heard of bread sauce? So I guess this is a traditional sauce that you would use on your meats or turkeys, and it is made with bread. My recipe is loosely based on Delia Smith's recipe. I will put a link down below to hers. What I did was I took a cup of milk and then I grated a little bit of nutmeg on top of that. Then I added 1/4 of an onion and 2 or 3 peppercorns and about a ½ teaspoon of salt. Brought that to a boil. Then I turned off the heat and allowed the milk to steep in those aromatics for a couple of hours. Meanwhile, I made some fresh breadcrumbs. I took a couple slices of white bread and lightly toasted them so they'd be dried out but no color on them because we want the sauce to be white. And then I whizzed this through a food processor to get some crumbs. So I removed all the aromatics out of my steeped milk, and then I added my breadcrumbs. Then you finish things off with a pat of butter, mix that all in, and there you have your bread sauce. And since I'm making a Christmas dinner, I wanted my bread sauce to be pretty thick because I want it to hold its shape. I think typically bread sauce is actually much thinner. It's a sauce, of course. It's actually very delicious. It reminds me a lot of clam chowder. You get a little bit of that onion flavor, that rich milk, the butter in there, and the nutmeg really shines through. Just that little bit in there. It's just lovely. So now we're gonna add a layer of our bread sauce right on top and give that a press. Next, we're gonna add a layer of gravy. This is just brown gravy. And this is not warm because, again, I want everything to kind of be congealed. On top of our gravy, we're gonna add a layer of mashed potatoes and turkey. Wiggle things around too much here because I don't want to disturb the layers underneath. So now I'm going to add a layer of mincemeat pie. Now mincemeat pies are traditionally eaten around Christmas time, and way back they did originally contain meat, but these days they do not. Again, mostly dried fruit with spice. Pie that I'm going to be using, it's made by Walker's, and this was perfect for my application because each pie is just individual servings. So stinking cute, right? And I went ahead and crushed one up, and I'm going to put a layer of that on top of here as well. This is the loosest layer. This is the layer that's going to be the least kind of wet. So the last layer is a layer of scrambled eggs and bacon. I'm not really sure how this falls into Christmas dinner, but it says that's what's on the top layer. In the picture of Christmas dinner, these scrambled eggs look very, very soft. So I heated up my pan on medium-low, added some ghee, and then beat up a couple eggs. Then add them to the pan and stir them pretty frequently. So my goal for these scrambled eggs was to keep them pretty moist and to have a very kind of soft consistency rather than having big kind of rubbery pieces. And then I added one strip of bacon that I cut up into little pieces at the very end. And I'm gonna add this to the top. All right, lovelies, I've been thinking about this for a while and I really hope this works. So far, it's looking really good. So I'm gonna do this on a cake stand because a cake stand is flat, and when I cut it, my knife will be able to go all the way down rather than being obstructed by a lip of a plate. So let's try that. We've come to the moment of truth. I'm gonna take the bottom off the can. Alrighty, here we go. Oh my God, it's happening. Oh no. Alrighty, there you have it, Christmas dinner, and I have to say I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. I did have some structural integrity issues in the middle, and if I froze this, I imagine this would probably hold up. I think the weakest point here was the bread sauce and the gravy, of course, in the middle. Those were the loosest in texture, and of course that's right in the middle of my Christmas dinner. But it's standing up, I see beautiful layers. Alrighty, let's see if we can actually cut this in half. I'm skeptical based on how it's just barely standing as it is, but I'm gonna attempt it at least. So let's just do this. Do you saw it through? Oh boy. Ooh. Alrighty, as I expected, this did not hold up so well when I cut it, but it's still standing. Alrighty, let's try to get a bite with everything. Turkey, mashed potato stuffing, mince pie, scrambled egg, carrot and parsnip, gravy, cranberry sauce. Alrighty, here we go. Itadakimasu. Merry Christmas. That's not bad. It's pretty sweet. The predominant flavor is spice and fruit from the Christmas pudding and the mincemeat pie, but it's pretty good. You've got the mushy, familiar mashed potato, a little bit of turkey in there. You've got some greenery. You've got some vegetables in the parsnip and carrot, which are also sweet. That bite was very broccolied, which I love, so no problem there. I think what's most interesting is probably the inclusion of the sugar and the spice in that. Not something I normally associate with Christmas dinner. Granted, this is more of a British style Christmas dinner. So one thing I appreciate about this dinner is its colorfulness. There's beautiful yellow eggs in there, orange carrots, green broccoli. A little contrast with the Christmas cake, and then we've got, of course, the cranberry sauce in there as well. So it's actually quite beautiful. All the taste together is a little bit strange, but actually quite tasty. You've got some of the tanginess from the cranberry, sweetness from both the pie and the Christmas cake, the spice that kind of permeates everything, smoky bacon, mashed potatoes. Yeah, it's pretty good. Alrighty, so there you have it, Christmas dinner. I made it so you didn't have to. Thank you so much to all the beautiful lovelies that suggested that I taste this. That was the catalyst for me actually making this. And big thanks to Sarah for making Christmas puddings, and big thanks to Simple Health for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to get a month of Simple Health free, click the link down below or head over to simplehealth.com/Emmy or use the code Emmy when you're checking out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye, Merry Christmas. Christmas dinner, how many times did you say Christmas dinner? Dinner, 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 Christmas dinner, 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 Christmas dinner.